Okay, the time is up. Hello and welcome to Vaidya's Chess Hub, and it is Wednesday, so it is officially game day. And today we will make sure that we'll go through some entries that I have received. I'm going to share a few. People have already started sending their answers to me. Those who have not done anything yet, well, they should probably start doing things. I have received them on WhatsApp. I have received entries on email. Wonderful. Some people have actually used a simple fullscape. Some people have written it on, actually they have taken a printout and then they've sent their answers. Some people have submitted their photos separately. That's not what I wanted. Have the photos stapled. So today I will share with you some examples. Seniors, by the way, seniors, if you have not submitted your answers to me yet, make sure that you do it. The last date, you all know the last date. I'm sure in the notifications you check that. Okay, time for us to go to leeches and start a classical game. When the game begins, here is what I want you to do. When the game begins, I don't want you guys to only look at the analysis in terms of what the computer would say. I want you to focus on the game because we bring the human element in the process. So make sure that you enjoy my commentary as to my intention, why I'm playing every move. That the logic is to learn, the logic is to study. So make sure that when I play the game, you're alert as to what I'm saying. The material count is one thing, but why am I doing what I am doing is very important. And if we finish the game, I had mentioned that in the notifications, if we spare enough time, then we will have some tactics also taken. Okay, so I am now going to pull up leeches. Let me. And by the way, yeah, sure, congratulations to all of those who were winners in yesterday's tournament. Fantastic, well played. I was very impressed. I had already mentioned it on WhatsApp, so I didn't mention it separately here. Rayansh played well. Vihang, you're getting stronger by each passing day. Alison will be happy because I'm going to share Prajna's entry for the theory paper. So she was one of the first students to submit the answers. Right, so let's get started with leeches. Here we are, and well, I'm looking at a game. The last date is June 28th, right? So you still have enough time, about 3 or 4 days more. So here we are on leeches. Let me see if we can get a good game here. This is 25 plus 0. This is 25 plus 0. 15 plus 15 would be ideal. Let's go for this 25-minute game. We are black here, and we are going to go for the Alaka in defense. I will change the board settings. Some people just love this wooden setting, so I'm going to change it to what you like watching. This is what you like watching. The game has started. We don't want to play very fast. We want to make sure that we utilize time. So what has happened so far is e4, knight to f6, knight c3 in defense, an exchange of pawns, and now if he takes my knight, I'm going to take with the queen. But we want to make sure that we plan and play everything. So he has opted not to Victor. I'm saying he because it's Victor, our opponent. Let's look at more what Victor has done so far. Victor has a lot of experience playing classical games. Look at that. He has played 2,446 games, almost 2,000, 2,500 games. That's a big experience. That's a huge experience of a classical game. I'm not talking about bullets here. Classical time control. So our opponent is very experienced indeed. We have to play well, and we will have to at least put up a decent fight. Because of his experience, there is always this up and down in the rating, and despite that, his rating at the moment is 1964. So huge respect for him. Let me see if I can show the entire rating here. Okay, now I believe now you see the entire thing. His rating is 1964. I don't want to take the knight myself. The reason is he might take it with the b pawn and then look for the d4 push. I'm contemplating knight to c6 so that I could push e5 myself. I'm happy with what I've seen here. Let's see how it goes. There are lines where I put the bishop on e6 and go for the fianchetto of the bishop. Guys, let me know if you can see the arrows very clearly, because on the wooden board the green arrows are often not so clear. So maybe we'll go for some blue arrows. I don't know. So this is the line of action. Normally in such situations you kind of do that. So now I suppose it is the time for us to capture, because what will happen is he has to now forcefully take with the b pawn. Later, if we want, we can push e5 with the intention of breaking his castling if he takes on e5. Before that, we could go ahead and pin the knight on g4. Let's do that. There is no threat as of now because this pawn is protected by the queen, but nonetheless I've pinned it. Alright, so there you go. He's preparing to castle. And now the bishop is out, so I can afford e6 as well, if not e5. So let me push e6. My bishop is out of the way, so I don't mind e6, putting bishop here on d6. If he castles, it's either bishop e7 or bishop d6. Let us see what our opponent does. And as usual, we have to spend a lot of time on thinking. It's a slow game. You don't want to blunder something unnecessarily. Yes, he has castled. We were ready for this. Pratik, it's okay. Pratik was late for the lecture because he had his tuitions. Welcome, Pratik. Hello, Pooja ma'am. Pooja ma'am, why were you on pause during the tournament? Ha! Yes, he is not Victor. Well, that's actually not fair, Ankit. He cannot be Victor Korchna. He's no more. Unfortunately, he's not with us, right? He's not with us, Ankit. He's no more. So definitely, but a great player. We deepest respect. I don't think you know that. That's why you probably thought it was some line, but he's not with us. In fact, Allison knew only him in the PowerPoint presentation. He's the only player Allison knew. So what's up? And now what's happening here? The moves are, I told you, bishop e7, bishop d6. I'm just thinking what will be the good square, because I'm a little circumspect about knight b5, trying to get the bishop in return for his knight. So would it be wise now to cripple his pawn structure? Is that okay? Well, I want to share a line with you guys. It's a very important line. They say in chess, to take is a mistake. I repeat, to take is a mistake, because when you take a piece, you help your opponent develop a piece. Of course, if there is an advantage, if there is a decisive advantage, if there is a checkmate, if it's a destroying the defender, something like that, then the exchange is good. Otherwise, unnecessary exchange or unnecessary taking of pieces is a mistake. So they say, it's a very popular line in chess world, to take is a mistake. So if you have heard this right, just type it in the chat. It's very important you tell yourself that. To take is a mistake. You don't want to unnecessarily take and make matters easy for your opponent. So that's why I'm avoiding this. Want to keep bishop d6, but I'm worried about knight b5. So what are we going to do? Bishop e7 will settle for something passive. It is not aggressive. I would have liked to play bishop d6. I'm saying it very clearly. It's just that we have settled for bishop e7, looks more solid, cannot be attacked. It's the only reason. The beginners remember this line, okay? To take is a mistake. I'm talking about chess. Don't apply this to when your dad gives you an ice cream. Then to take is a mistake is so not true there. It applies to chess. Okay, so he has definitely taken. So which means that he has now helped us to either take with the queen, but which is subject to c4, or clear the diagonal taking with the pawn, having a pawn in the center. So obvious choice is the pawn. I don't want to go for queen takes b5 and invite c4 with a tempo. I'd rather be flexible with the battery along this diagonal. I'm happy that we are behind on time. So Reyansh is hearing this for the first time. Reyansh, surely now you know to take is a mistake. And now our opponent has asked us a question. Sir, do you want to take the knight or do you want to retreat? My answer to this is always simple, retreat. I just want to keep this. And if the need be, then put it on this diagonal. There was no scope, by the way, here to take the knight and then go for the pawn because it was protected by queen. And now more so with the pawn on c3. He has some structure going, but I think this will be a very good diagonal for the bishop. So I guess it is now definitely the right time for us to castle. Today we are not definitely following very strictly the point I always apply, which is looking for a check first. Today we have just played positionally so far. But yes, always look for forcing moves. That's why I did not play queen takes d5. I didn't play queen takes d5 because we would have allowed white a tempo with c4. If I would have taken here with the queen, then c4 with the help of the bishop, that would be bad. Plus, this is so much better to have pawns in the center. At least one pawn in the center. Good to see. Now this earns respect. This earns great respect. Look at our opponent. He is so massively experienced. I repeat, guys, he is amazing. The experience is just amazing. And yet, despite of having played 2,500 classical games, if the B batch guys are listening, the newcomers, the new admissions, the people who are new to chess, 2,500 classical games. That's huge. And despite of that, our opponent is thinking and playing. He has earned my respects. He is not taking things for granted. He's putting thought behind his moves, and that is what you should do. On Sunday, remember how many times I said this? Using time, or use time. Right now, I'm engaging in a particular educational discussion alongside the game. So you have to put some thought and look at our experienced opponent. Victor is doing that and he has earned my respects. But this is how you have to play chess. Enjoy it. Put some thought into it. I'm sure you're understanding my point here. So he has earned my respects. He's thinking. He's put the bishop on the diagonal that will suit him. Sure. So now what are we going to do? Do we want to take opposition here? Or do we want to put the rook on the open file? This looks like a draw here at the moment. There is nothing to choose. White, black, well, there's really nothing to choose. I think we can go for some centralization. But at the moment, I'm a little tempted for rook e8 because rook in the open file, well, that's always a good thing. Rook on the open file, I like that. So you can see that our opponent, and we have got this piece development complete. All the pieces are well developed. Even his rooks are, Even his rooks are connected. This is called connecting the rooks. Juniors, again make a note of this. This is called connecting the rooks. So the rooks are connected now. Now the point is, do we want to go for bishop d6? Because if we take, he will centralize the queen, which we will not do. So what's the point putting the bishop on d6? Shall we also go for queen d7 and connect the rooks? Should we go for something like that? But then he always has knight d4, knight e5 in some cases, because that hits the queen, by the way. Yeah, let's take the opposition. Let's take the opposition, guys. Let's see what Victor does. I'm going to make a pre-move here. If he takes with the bishop, if he takes the bishop, then I'm going to take back with the queen. Not the pawn, of course. B-batch, guys, not with the pawn. We don't want to have double pawns on the d file. We don't want to do that. Notice we are behind on time here. The juniors, we are behind on time here by a full 5 minutes. Your duration for Friday's tournaments is 5 minutes, and people lose with 4 minutes to spare. Something that I should not see this Friday. I hope not, sincerely. Use your time, thinking time. Winning, losing will happen. Play well. So our opponent is from, well, the country is not mentioned. He has a decent connection. Maybe he's playing on his cell phone. We have got a good connection. It says country is not mentioned. I said 2,400 is a huge experience, because look at our classical games. 47, just 47 classical games. And he has played a whooping 2,446. That's a huge experience, guys. That's a huge experience. And despite of that experience, to be rated 1964 is simply commendable. Now look, our opponent knows the rule to take the mistake, because we would have been able to put the queen on d6 comfortably. So he has, by the way, he's jamming his f1 rook. So maybe in the future he wants to push the f pawn. Otherwise there was no reason for him to jam this rook on f1. Sometimes it becomes really, an ill-placed rook. Now I think we are going to definitely either play a6 just to stop bishop b5 nonsense, or queen d7. Let's see. If we play, well, I don't think he will do that, because if we play queen d7 and he first goes for the pin, I first take the knight. That's what I will do first. So okay, to connect the rooks. So now we have also connected the rooks. Understand chess here? We have done what? We have connected the rooks. The game is fairly balanced right now. I'm not particularly impressed with his rook on f1, because there are 1, 2, 3, 4 chessmen on that f file for him. So he is committed the a rook to the e file and let the f rook be there. It's an important observation, guys. Observe all these things. Very important, juniors and even the seniors. So this is a nice point about that rook on f1. The more I think about it, the more I like. From our point of view, it's good that that rook on f1 is jam-packed. It's not easy. Until that rook on e does something, or there is a rook lift, that rook on f1 can struggle. I'm saying. So he has pushed the knight. As I said, there is always this tempo that he will gain. Now here is the trick. You guys have to understand this. If we take with the knight, then he will take with the pawn, maintaining the attack on the bishop and also the bishop on h5. Juniors, understand this. Juniors, listen to what I'm saying. If we take with the knight, then he will take with the pawn, maintaining the attack on the bishop and also the attack on the h5 bishop. So rightly we should take first with the bishop, gain a piece here, and then no matter with what he takes, we'll have our own chance to take the bishop on e2 if we want. I repeat, it is if we want, but we have to take the knight first because the knight is hitting the queen. However, there is another option which was queen f5. I will rule that out because of the move g4, because that will be a fall. Again, juniors, looks tempting, but the bishop is well protected and he will simply play g4 and the game will be lost. So I have to take with the bishop clearly, because now I'm a piece up here. So he has to choose whether he wants to take on h5 or he wants to take on the e5 square. Point noted. This is something nice. This is why we have to learn the points. We had to take with the bishop. We could not have taken here with the knight, because he would have taken with the pawn, attacking the bishop and also attacking bishop on h5. Okay, so he has opted to take on h5, and now it is up to us. We want to save the bishop. We want to take his bishop and let his queen come on f4. I am not so happy. I will not be so happy with that. No way. I don't want that. But then, should we give him this diagonal or should we go back to d6? Big decision to make, guys. Big one. Let's calculate a little while. If we take, well, he will take queen d6, doubling of pawns. No, that's not a good idea. Okay, so it is best that we keep it on d6. It's best. Let's see now. I won't allow his queen to be on f4, but however, I would now go with my queen to f5. Now it is possible. Our rooks are connected. So it is interesting, this game. In the least bit, I can say that this game is certainly interesting. Okay, now we have a tempo. We definitely can win a tempo here. If he takes, well, I can take the bishop first, right? Yeah. Is that bishop going f3, going h5? What's up? Now this is an important decision for Victor to make. I'm happy with our position. Thank you so much, Manoj Kumar Keher. Thank you so much. Absolutely appreciate that. I try to do my best. Not that I never lose. I do. But then at least I'm making things clear as to why I do it. Thank you so much for your compliments and welcome to our channel. Thank you so much. So here we are, and now what? Thank you so much, Manoj Kumar Keher. Okay, now what? So he has opted for h5, and now we have a chance again to win a tempo and push him to f3. I will say it again that I don't like his rook on f1. This jam-packed rook there. However, that is the exact reason why I don't want to exchange it, because then we will just make his bad rook look good. and he will have control over this e8 square. As you can see, his bishop is just hitting the rook at the moment. This is one more thing for our juniors to learn. Always opponent's last move, okay, is to be observed. Always. Our opponent has just put the bishop on h5. Just watch what the bishop is doing. So often in the juniors game, you will see they have no respect for the opponent's last move. Don't do that. No, don't do that. So here I think this move is pretty much forced for us. We want to play the move g6. Even if then he exchanges, well, then his bad rook comes to the e, but then I have my rook firmly on e8. Well, that looks okay to me. However, there is another move to contemplate. How about rook to e4? Well, that's a nice rook lift. Rook to e4. Then we are attacking this bishop twice. We are hitting the bishop with the rook and with our bishop. And later prospects of g6. Then this rook also on the e8 square. I am only worried about after rook e4 he could play f3. That's the only move that I think could ruin the prospects a little bit for us. A little bit, I'm saying. But he cannot play that immediately. If I play rook e4, he cannot play f3 immediately because I'm going to take his bishop. So let's analyze this. Rook e4, then first he takes the bishop. Then I would probably play the queen takes. Then he could play f3. Well, then yeah, then surely he could play that. Then I have rook e6. This is way too complicated. But yeah, surely something to enjoy. Can I go e4 here? Let's calculate this again. If I go rook e4 and I enjoy this calculation part, rook e4, rook e4. Let's he cannot play f3 immediately because this is attacked twice. So let's say rook e4. First he takes our bishop. Then we could take his bishop with the queen while the rook stands. Then he pushes f3 and we do what? That's the main question. Because then we might not be in a position to play this rook here on e8 because of this bishop. So let's first go for g6. Because again, he doesn't have time to put his bad rook on e because the bishop was attacked. And after this, we don't have the rook e4 move anymore. So we should now switch to some other plans. This pawn is hanging now, by the way. Should we go for a move like knight e7? He doesn't take on d5 immediately because I have bishop takes f4, by the way, hitting the queen. So I'm not worried about that. So let's get the rooks exchanged. Takes, put the rook, takes, but then there will be a doubling of pawn. No, if I take, he has to take with the rook. If takes with the queen, the bishop is hanging. There's so much to calculate, guys. Enjoy such calculations. Rook takes, then he cannot take with the queen because his bishop falls. So I'm saying rook takes e1, rook takes e1, then bishop takes, queen takes, and then we put the rook. But then the c7 pawn falls. But we have a check after that, right? OMG. There's a lot to calculate, guys. A lot to calculate. What about rook e6 here? No, but that will just be a disaster. And by the way, bishop d5 is a check first. Mindful of that. How about knight to e7? The more I look at it, the more I like it. Knight e7. Yeah, I'm going to play that. The thing is, I now want to push c6. I want to push c6. Yes, opponent has twice the time. But that is the main thing. Opponent has indeed twice the time. But it's important to play well. And I suppose now this should encourage you to take more time when you play. When you play, look at our opponent as well. He is so experienced, I've already said. But then he has also used 10 minutes of his time. And he has earned my respect. Now look at that. He wants to make his bad rook into a good one. Now c6. King f7 also does look neat, but not before c6. Now I'm okay with, oops, not there. Now I am okay with this. Our opponent has played well. Completely agreed. Super. So now he has double rooks. We can move the knight, not that we cannot move the knight, because our rooks are rook is well supported. I have no issues with that. So now the question is, how do we go about getting an active position? King f7 does look good. Now the king has also joined hands. How great would the knight be on the square e4? Just imagine our knight on e4. I so wish we could put it there or on c4. By the way, there is another prospect now after this that we have. Queen c7. Because then we are hitting the bishop twice. Queen c7 does indeed do that. Let's see what happens now. Queen e7 is what I like, because we will attack the bishop twice. The knight now has an alternative route, by the way. Oh, so he has chosen to take. That is going to be a little surprising. Not very, but a little surprising. Is he aiming for this? I'll have to go back then. Is it? I wonder. If this is what he's aiming, I'll have to go back to g8. We have, by the way, those are called pawn islands. We have two pawn islands, okay? So this is one pawn island, oops, and this is the other pawn island that we have. That means connected pawns. So clearly now this is what we have to do. There is no other way to save this. Incredible. Suddenly the bad rook has turned into a good rook somehow. That's why he exchanged it. Exchanged the bishop and put the queen on h6. Well played. He has definitely played very well, our opponent. Very good chess. Well, we have nothing more than to try queen d7, get this knight free to do something, but where? The knight really has no squares to go. I'm afraid that's the case. Certainly. How about the journey of the queen this way? Sure. Can be done, right? I mean, can be. I'm trying here. At the moment, I've protected the e7 square enough times. And after the queens are exchanged, I would then go ahead and release my knight to a better square. Somehow I'm happy with our investment on b7, c6 and d5. I'm happy at that. So now, as expected, there is a pawn push. Is the exchange going to do much damage? Really? No, right? I don't think so. This has to be something. I have to do that. Now my knight at least is free to move. So if he takes, I'm going to take with the knight. Maybe even better with the pawn. Why let his bishop become active? Why let that happen? And in some cases now I can push this pawn and get my knight to f5 as well. That can also be done. We have 1/3 the time now. Okay. So attacked 3 times, defended 2 times. How does that go? Have to do this. There is no other option. Check, and I'm going back. I want just to free my knight. It's very important I do that. I'm looking at a move to free my knight. I'm not getting that move. By the way, this the time control I shouldn't forget is, guys, it's 25 plus 0. That is something to watch out for. Okay, 0. Oh, now what? Now what? But my knight is free to move. I like that. I like what I see here. At least it's a relief for me to get a knight move in. Big relief. And he doesn't have queen f6 check, by the way, because of the knight now. It's a plus 0-second increment. I have to keep that in mind. We are down on time, but we ain't getting plus 15. Okay, so that is something that we have to keep in mind all the time. As I said, we have to appreciate the experience of our opponent here. Fantastic, absolutely, and he's showing his class. I repeat that our rating is higher Definitely our rating is higher here. Okay, now the point is queen check. Alert. So if I go ahead and exchange, he gets this. Then it takes. Then I can put the rook here. Then a check. Then the knight blocks it. This is cruel. This is just cruel chess. Am I going to give a rook here? No. I might as well take here. There's no chance. We have to go for it. There is no other option I see. We have to go for this, guys. Have to go for this. Have to. I have knight takes, by the way. If he gives a check, I probably should block it with the knight. Should block it with the knight. The king has no moves, by the way. The king has no moves if he plays this check. So we'll have to block the check, and I suppose the better way to do it is with the knight. Isn't it? With the rook? No, not with the rook, with the knight. Now my king has some square to go, you know what? But the time is an issue now. The time is an issue. By the way, if he plays rook e2, I simply take, or even better, I take with the queen, I suppose. So I don't think he will take. If he takes, it will be a good stress relief for us. Again, I'm saying this move somehow is very impressive. And then put our knight here. Rook e6. The idea is to pin. But a great idea, sir. So this looks pretty much forced. Otherwise, his plan was to pin the queen, guys. His idea was to pin the queen. And the knight could not have gone to g8 because knight was pinned. So he is playing very nice here. Very nice. Well played. Fetched great respect our opponent. We are down to 2 minutes and 19 seconds. And we don't get any increment. Sad. But I am sure that this one has actually taught everyone how important it is to think and play. With that 2000 classical game experience, our opponent is, thinking and playing fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed these games. Okay, so now there are 2 attacks. So what do we do here? The thing is, we still cannot go back with the king because the threat looms in the air. We do this. He is playing incredibly strong. There's no doubt about it. Just too much to handle at the moment. This is the only move I can think of right now. And that is the only move I could think of right now. Only move. I'm positively sure I saw nothing else to do. Nothing. Yeah, nothing else. So now the idea is if he takes, I'm going to take the queen with a check. And then if he takes, I'm going to take the queen here. So, okay, let it be. Oh, now that is killing. That was something that is, oh my word, what a move that was. I didn't see that rook g7 check. That rook g7 check was awesome. Rook g7 check. Simply outstanding chess. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Now everything is hanging everywhere. Can we just resign this? Is there any hope? There is no hope. He just will. I've just stopped the check and stopped him from taking on b7, but he's a complete piece up. He might just give it. Can he? No, he can't. Thankfully, no. This is incredible. Loving this to the core. By the way, if all the pawns are taken off the board and he only has the king and bishop, there is insufficient mating material, by the way. So now the king, is he going to sacrifice the rook? Is he going to sacrifice the rook? Is it? OMG. What's up? This is incredible now. He is a piece up, but not without a fight. They're not going down without a fight. Appreciate he is winning here, but still is thinking. Again, Junius, sure. He is the one winning here. What? So he has sacrificed his rook and oh, that's so bad. That's so bad of this guy. He just wants to win everything. Now I'll have the pawn, but guess what? Can I hold this? Can I? No, right? Because he is now going to go ahead and take all the pawns. Oh no, this is bad. I think that's the end of the game for us. I'm going to resign here. Beautiful, remarkable play. Now we will go ahead and analyze where we could have done better right from the start. Let me put the engine on. Now we will analyze, and well played. Our opponent did play well. No doubt about it. Now let us see what happened in this game. E4, knight f6, e5. Okay. So this position, we played the rook, he played the queen, played the bishop. Now look at the position here. It was perfectly on level terms. He wanted to play us to play knight takes e5. And why was that great? Because we would have taken here first. We would have taken. Actually, I did not want this move much earlier. That's why I was a little circumspect about this. But computer thinks that knight takes was better. Oh, this one was bad. Look at the change in the points here. So from 1.2, it went to 2.7, which is almost a piece now. Yes, because this led to all the pin things. So he said that it is better to take here and then put the king on the 7th just to stop queen h6, which he eventually did. And let his queen be on f4. Okay. He played well. He really played well. No doubt about that. I have no doubt about this. Guys, fantastic game. There was no doubt in my mind that our opponent was very experienced and he showed his class. I'm very happy. What we could have done is that we could have exchanged on the f4. We were very clear we don't want to exchange. But in the end, we put up a good fight. And how nicely did he sacrifice that rook for the knight? Because his king was just in time to get to that pawn. Otherwise, if all the pawns were traded with only the king and bishop, it could have been a draw. But he played really well. And now, I think we have enough time to go for at least five tactics. We could go for 5 tactics as usual. So, leave your comment, keep your comments coming in the chat. Meanwhile, I'll get ready for the tactics on leeches. And that shows, guys, all the juniors who complain, by the way, like I lost in the tournament. Well, here it is, even I lost here. Okay, so it happens to everyone. Very important, guys. Happens to everybody. Okay, so tactics, the first one is going to be black to play. That's it. Black to play. I'm going to give you your arrows here. So are we going to take this knight? Are we going to flamboyantly give this check? Are we going to play the queen to d2? Or are we going to play the move? What can I suggest as a fourth move? Oh yeah, why not? Are we going to push this pawn to attack the knight? So as usual, you will have 2 minutes of thinking time. You can start your thinking, and at the end of 2 minutes, we will see what the answer was. Enjoy the music meanwhile. Okay, the time is up, and the right answer, well, I'm so happy, Manoj Keher, I'm very happy. Well, this is what we do. So none of these is the answer. All of those faithful students said green sir, red arrow sir. Well, that's not right. None of these, and the seniors have also now joined the action. Wonderful. Correct answer is none of these. Not one of the arrows I showed. It is checkmate in 2 moves. Notice the bishop. Let's go back. Very nice. I'm very impressed with your work. And the thing is, what we should have actually done is queen d1 check. Notice the power of this bishop covering the h2 square. Rook takes, followed by the rook takes. It's a back rank checkmate. It is check and mate. So congratulations, all those who said none of these. Congratulations. And by the way, Manoj, Allison's our viewer from UK. So you can say sis. Okay. Anyway, so we are Allison. I hope that you are indeed Allison, the sis that I said, and not using some ID. Okay, that's why, because you said Allison. I'll take that. Bunch of lions is here, the pride of lions, but the bunch of lions as a joke. So very nice, good to join us. Good that you join us. And well, next one is white to play. Here it is, white to play. Your options are we going to flamboyantly take this pawn? Are we going to give him a bishop e6 check? Are we going to give him a bishop f3 check? Or are we just going to attack his rook with our king? Oh no, not red again, I beg your pardon, should be blue arrow. So now your timing would start. It's not black to play, it's white to play. Remember, when the seniors answer later, they should also mention the name of the tactic. Very important. Name of the tactic. You have another 15 seconds. Okay, the time is up and the correct answer is indeed the green arrow. Fantastic. So all those who said green arrow, fantastic. Right application, good tactics, and that is the discovered attack. So the name also has been mentioned. Vihang says bishop e6 check. Wherever the king moves or knight blocks, rook takes c4, we become a rook up. The name of the tactic is discovered attack. So all the new admissions, all the beginners, this is known as the discovered attack. Let's go back to the position. This is the position, and so the green arrow makes sense. Why does green arrow make sense? We will give a check with the bishop, but at the same time, discovered attack. Unleash the attack on the rook that's on c5. So after this check, we will be able to pick up a free rook. Fantastic. Really, really well done. Congratulations to those who thought of that. The next one will again be white to play. So here we go, white to play. Our knight is attacked. So do you want to play rook to a8 check? Do you want to play the knight taking the pawn? Do you want to safeguard the knight and play a move like knight to f2? Or do you want to go ahead and create another attacker for the f7 square by playing the move shown in the blue? The time starts. Okay, the time is up. First of all, we have got to once and for all establish whether it is yellow, golden, orange. What color is that? Let's build up a consensus. Let's build up what color is that. But by the way, that's not the answer. That's not. Manoj Kumar Keher, the knight is in danger. Same time, remove the danger. Threatening checkmate. I'll tell you why the golden or the chrome arrow is not the correct answer. Let's get to the position. What happens here is, if you go ahead and play the golden one, well, let's see. If you go ahead and play the move like knight to g5, knight takes g5, threatening checkmate, you should realize that the bishop can just take. So Manoj Kumar Keher, that's the thing. If you first take on g5, yes, rook a8 check does look tempting checkmate, but then the bishop has it covered. So that's not what you want. The thing is, first we will, the green arrow is right by the way, first we will give the check. The first move is king h7, and then we have knight takes g5, which is a check, but bishop won't have the time to take it because we will take the bishop ourselves. I hope now that it has registered and now you've enjoyed this. Type it in the chat if you honestly were wrong about it. Fantastic position, and Alison, really well done. You corrected a lot of people. They were hasty with the golden arrow, yellow arrow, chrome arrow, whatever that arrow is. What is that color? What is that color? We should ask leeches that. It's the right question to ask leeches what color that is. Let me execute it. It's a check. You can see it's the best move. And now knight takes g5 will be a fork. So Manoj Kumar Keher, now we will win a piece here. I'm sure you love that. Sure you love that. Let's do this same thing one more time. It's the rook check. The king would come to h7, which is forced, and then the fork. So check, takes and takes. Now before we go to the next one, there is something really nice. Before we go to the next one, Alison, you would love this because I'm sharing some entries for the chess theory paper. There were some questions and then you are required to submit them before June 28. So let me start with some images, some entries. So today, Alison, you will see Prajna's handwriting maybe. I'm not very sure whether I've incorporated Prajna's work today in this particular episode. Maybe next time. Here we go. Guys, who is this guy? Let me know. Who is this guy? Who has submitted me the answers? Who is this one? No problem. Sure you enjoyed that, Manoj. And now, okay, so who has sent me this answer? Name please. Arya Mahakal, right? Is he here with us right now? Yes, Arya is with us. So Arya, thank you so much. The next one, please. Who's the next one? Okay, so now we have Kalyani. Some people have actually done it on a simple Foldscape. The others have actually done it on a blank A4. One or two of them have sent me a PDF. So Alison, this is our other good-looking, cute doll with 2 plates. Just very nice work. By the way, Kalyani, don't say 64 squares are there on a chessboard. There are 64 squares on a chessboard. Is so much better. The next one, please. Who is this guy? That's what neat. Thank you. Alison, thank you so much. If Kalyani is here, you can convey your own thanks. Now this one is technology. This one explains technology. Very decent background for the snap. Jay is saying I've sent a PDF. Jay, have you just done that? Because I've not checked it for the last couple of hours. I don't know. Okay. It's just the words that are, interchanged. Yes, sure. Now the next and the last one I'm going to share for this lecture. I'm going to share just one more for this lecture. So if you have not featured as of now, it is okay. Don't worry, I'm just giving you some samples. So we will see one more entry and then we will go back to our tactics. We'll do 2 more tactics and then we will bring the session to an end. Before that, tomorrow we meet again at 6 Indian Standard Time. That's 1800 hours Indian Standard Time. And tomorrow is lecture for the A batch. So it's going to be very special. Manoj, you can join us. By the way, is your real name Manoj or you're using this ID? Kindly tell me. The same question I asked Alison once. Manoj, kindly let us know if your real name is indeed Manoj or is that some ID that you are using. The last entry for today, who is this guy? Okay, I'll call you Manoj. Yes, thank you. This is Rudra. And you can see that he has done this on a fullscape and then probably taken a snapshot or a Xerox, send me the image, and maybe he has pasted his image. Maybe he has done that. Yeah, neat work. There are 64 squares on the chessboard. The king moves 2 squares towards the rook and the rook comes on the other side. Wonderful. Okay, so now we will go back to our tactics session and we are going to do 2 more tactics before we wrap up this session. So Manoj, I don't know if you have seen us prior to this lecture, but we always normally record it for 1 hour, probably an hour and a half at the most. So these will be the last 2 tactics and you can join us tomorrow again if you are free at 1800 hours. By the way, what part of India are you from, Manoj? If at all you're from India. What part of India are you from? Let us know. Back to leeches. The next one is going to be black to play. The penultimate tactic for today. So black to play. Now are you interested in delivering this bishop check? Are you interested in taking the pawn and playing knight takes a2 check? Are you interested in playing a move like rook to h6? Or are you simply interested in this pawn and thereby playing a move like maybe queen to e7? Or is it again the none of this trick that I've played on you? You've got a couple of minutes to think. Okay, the time is up, and those who said the green arrow, well done, brilliant. Some of you might have thought, well, the green arrow will not work. What if there is a pawn push? But Ankit, fantastic man. There was clearance. Brilliant indeed. There was clearance. And therefore, here is what it is. Let's go back to the position. What happens here is, the green one makes sense. It's a check. At the same time, it's clearance or a discovered attack, if you would please. The king has nowhere to go. The king cannot take the bishop because of the knight support. The king has nowhere to go. And because of this bishop check, well, nowhere to go, there's this pawn move, and then queen takes is just checkmate. And now he's blocked it with the queen. So now the question is, should we take the queen? Is it necessary for us to take the queen? Is it necessary? So, not necessary. This is the one feature that you could add to your game, guys. Some players, when they get the queen, well, they just want to take the queen. The objective of a game of chess is to checkmate. So here you don't have to take the queen, right? You don't have to take the queen. Let's not do that. Let's just finish it with a beautiful checkmate. Let the queen be on the board. Isn't the checkmate prettier when the opponent's queen is on the board? Let me know. Big comment. Big comment. I'm asking you guys. I'm asking you. It's a big comment. Isn't the mate better when the opponent has the queen on the board? It's fantastic, right? Last position. One final position. The next one is white to play, guys. It is white to play. Let me give you your options. So here, are you interested in playing the move rook b1, or do you want to play queen f4 check? Do you also are you wishful of playing a move such as the bishop, no, not the blue one, the bishop attacking the rook? Or do you want to play a move like queen to e3 check? Or is it again the none of these idea? You tell me. It is white to play. Okay, the time is up. By the way, none of these is just catching up. None of these, none of these. And by the way, Granth, do not type none of these so many times. I understood none of these, but why type it so many times? Now the seniors have not pitched in at all here. Seniors cannot just say none of these. They have to come up with the answer. Seniors cannot just say none of these. Then tell me what is the answer. Allison is saying Queen F4 check. Okay. And by the way, one more. Jay said blue is better. So that's one and the same, right? That's the same thing. Let's go back. These are your options. So the blue one is better. And let's see why that is better. The others have still not given any input. So now let's see. Finally Vihang says I agree with Jay. Finally Jay, you Vihang support. So let's see here what's the best. Queen F4. The point of Queen F4 will be that if the king goes to this H7 square. This is a difficult one to see, by the way, why this one makes sense. Okay, so watch this very carefully. Very carefully. You will all enjoy that even if you go wrong. The point is, after Queen F4 check, King H7, and suddenly this knight is in jeopardy, because then you have Queen C7. Phenomenal. Okay, phenomenal. This is absolutely fantastic. Then you have this fork picking up the knight. I hope you all have noticed that. Let's consider what happens if Queen F4 check and he pushes the pawn. Well, that is completely useless, because then that is just free, isn't it? Is it just free? Let's consider what happens if the pawn blocks. I would like seniors to contemplate there. What happens if the pawn blocks it? That's a very important thing. What happens if the pawn blocks it? So let's say Queen F4 check and a pawn blocks it. Do we take with the queen? Because then he goes to H7. Then we cannot exploit this. So that's why Queen F4 check, pawn blocks it. You take with the pawn. But then he has the king to G4 maneuver. What happens then? I'm going to wait here. I want the seniors to think. Yes, what if G5? Absolutely. The Allison might want to clarify that, since you came up with Queen F4. What happens if it is G5? Do we take with the pawn? Do we take with the queen? Interesting. What if G5? The other seniors as well. I'm going to make the first move here. Queen F4 check is the best. Oh, the computer made it so easy. G5, H5. G5, H5. Now the computer made it very easy for us. He simply went back, and I'm going to take here. But no, the main question is, after this check, what if there is G5 and take with the pawn and then do what? Why does he not? Does he allow us to? We should be able to analyze this, guys, right? I believe we can. Oh yeah, here we can. Now what happens if the pawn blocks it? The queen takes it. Still H7. Then queen takes pawn. G7. Well, okay, so this is not very clear. Yeah, this is not very clear. But then the last one is clearly winning. But I like the fork idea. I would have pushed the pawn rather than lose just a piece like that. Anyway, fantastic. No problem. It was a wonderful session. By the way, Allison, tomorrow again we are going to proceed with the top and famous chess players. Don't you worry. Tomorrow I ain't troubling you with any more Brits. General players from across the globe. So we will have that wonderful session tomorrow. Plus there will be study games and if possible, tomorrow I will prepare draw and stalemate ideas for the A batch guys, a little more in detail. So action packed lecture tomorrow. We had a good game today. We lost today's game, but it was an opponent with completely huge experience. Victor, our opponent, played really well. Super, super. And hope that you at least enjoyed the calculation. There's sincerity there. And tomorrow at 1800 hours, we will meet again. Okay. Thank you so much. And take care. Stay at home. It's COVID-19 times. We will meet tomorrow.